Welcome to the fourth day of the Qualcomm 2013 Star Worlds at the San Diego Yacht Club, home to Lowell North, the world's most successful star sailor with 12 star medals under his belt, 5 World Championship gold medals and 1 Olympic gold medal. The wind was stronger today with the fleet packed at the windward side of the starting line. Yesterday's winners, the French Rohar and Pulfer, had the best start positioned in the middle of the line, and they soon tagged to head to the right side of the course. They made an easy job of being the first boat to the windward mark, followed closely by the second in overall ranking, the USA's McCausland and Trinta. 3 times Olympic medalist Mark Reynolds and his crew Haenel were currently in 6th place, trying to recover from yesterday's disastrous race, whilst the series leaders, Ledbetter and Morton, were even further behind. The weather was very consistent today in both strength and direction, always favouring the right side. At the leeward gate, the 2 leaders, Rohar and McCausland, had a safe lead from the rest of the fleet, but were very close together, battling it out as they rounded the left mark. Rohar was the first to tack, heading to the right again, with McCausland tacking right straight after him. The rest of the fleet had a packed rounding, with everyone jostling for position at the gate. Rohar and McCausland were very close yet again during the second upwind, with McCausland trying to slip in front from the leeward side, but Rohar wasn't going to give up this race easily and was guarding his position. The difference between the 2 boats was very small, and anything was possible with 2 more legs remaining as they rounded the windward mark for the last time. The surprise came from Reynolds and Haenel, who had managed to climb into 3rd place overall, putting their years of experience into action. The Star class has a great list of competitors, and the fact that sailors of all ages are able to race makes it possible for lots of Olympic and world medalists to be here and keep the sailing level to a high standard. As McCausland headed for the last upwind to the finish line, it was yesterday's leaders, Ledbetter and Morton, that were a few meters behind that soon tagged to head to the left side of the course. They were currently in 6th place overall and not ready to give up a chance to take a top spot. Rohar now had a safe lead, which he carefully guarded from McCausland as they both headed to the finish line. A second bullet for the French Rohar and Pulfer at this championship means they are strong candidates for a podium spot at the end of the week. Their excitement could not be hidden as they crossed the finish line. McCausland scored his 3rd second place in the championship and managed to climb to the top of the overall leaderboard, with another 2 Americans completing the podium places. Following them closely were the French team, clearly planning to break the US domination. But let's hear what the current series leader had to say for today's race.
We knew the right would eventually work, so we had to plan ourselves to be able to get to the right. We also knew that the breeze was good to the left early in the race. Realistically here, you have to manage your risk, and sometimes the risk of taking a chance of going to the left of him, say, is far too great. And, you know, yes, we would have liked to win the race, but we're here really, in my mind, to win the war, not each battle.
The penultimate day of the Qualcomm Star World Championship was a defining one, as the teams were allowed to discard their worst score after today's racing. There was action from the word go, with a packed start that saw many of the teams jumping the gun. The majority of the fleet started at the windward side and quickly tacked to head to the right side of the course. Today would be a real game changer in terms of the leaderboard. With one race being discarded, the difference in points between the teams would lessen, and those at the bottom of the pack would see their standings improve. So with this in mind, the pressure was on for the competitors as the competition was set to get tighter. At the windward mark, it was the 3 American teams who rounded first, with Diaz and Bolton's first, Campbell and von Swart second, and Brun and Tahar following close behind them in 3rd. Further back in the fleet was yesterday's race winners, Rohar and Pulfer. They would need to perform well today if they wanted to hold on to a top spot on the overall leaderboard. All the teams will be racing at their best, but it's when the boats are so close together at roundings as seen today that experience comes into play, and the best of the athletes find they're able to climb up the rankings in just a few maneuvers. Later in the race, the wind started to ease off, but Brun and Tahar had a good downwind leg, managing to round in front at the leeward gate with Diaz following them, while Campbell chose to round the opposite mark and head to the right. Now in fourth place was Reynolds and his crew Hainel, with Rohara breathing down their neck after having an exceptional downwind leg and making some good gains. Campbell's choice to opt for the right clearly paid off, as he managed to slip into first place as he rounded the gate for the second time, extending his lead enough to have a safe distance from Reynolds, who was currently in second place, and Rohara in fourth. But the last upwind would be a crucial one. Yesterday's series leaders, McCausland and Trinta, were in sixth place, and the weather was shifting to the left. It was almost a straight line to the finish. But McCausland worked his magic and sailed lower and faster than the rest of the fleet, managing to reach the right side of the racecourse first. As soon as he tacked, he was already in second place behind Campbell, a strong indicator that he was still in the running for a gold medal in this championship. Campbell finally crossed the finish line first, but it is McCausland and Trinta with a spree of second places that sit firmly on the top of the leaderboard at the end of the day, having only the French team Rohara and Pulfer threatening them in tomorrow's last race.
It was a long race, almost 3 hours. It was really wild conditions. We had the whole variety with the crew over the rail and with no wind at all, and I don't know, we got out and we weren't going to give it away this time. We led a race earlier in the week, and so we were ready to take this one if they were going to give it to us. So we're going to come home with hopefully some good hardware for San Diego Yacht Club tomorrow, hopefully. We're going to work really hard to put up another good score.
It's going to be a critical race tomorrow with the gold medal still at stake. Welcome to the final day of racing at the Qualcomm Star World Championship 2013, where the atmosphere is electrifying. A clear start saw the fleet spread along the line. With the top 8 boats very close in points at the overall ranking, it would be a tactical game today between them. The breeze was stronger than every other day, offering a great spectacle as crews were hiking hard and the boats were sailing fast to the upwind mark. The right side was again the favourable one, as the team soon tacked and headed there as the wind was stronger. First to reach the windward mark was the American Diaz with crew Boltons, followed by the Brazilians Pascalato and Boning. Closely behind them in third place were yesterday's race winners Campbell and von Swartz, with Rohara and Pulfer on their tail in fourth. Campbell was very close to a podium finish, and Rohara could be seeing gold with his main opponent, McCausland, outside top 20 boats. An exceptional downwind leg for Rohara saw him rounding in second place behind Diaz, and getting this way one step closer to his second gold medal in a Star World Championship. Further back inside the top 10 boats was Reynolds and his crew Hainel, closely following and ready to strike back, aiming for a medal too. What happened after could not be described, as the wind dropped dramatically, shifting to the left and shuffling the fleet radically. Big winner out of this situation was Campbell, that was now in first place, having his main adversaries at the back of the fleet, among them Rohara and McCausland. Although McCausland could not lose first place from anyone but Rohara, all the other spots at the podium were wide open for the rest of the top teams to claim. So Campbell grabbed that opportunity and sailed the last upwind conservatively to score his second bullet in the championship and claim second place overall. An overwhelming result for the team that could not hide their excitement as they crossed the finish line. The remaining place at the podium went to Reynolds and Hainel. They once again proved that experience is important in a class like the Star. But let's hear more from the 2013 World Champion McCausland.
First Worlds I sailed was 1981 with my father, and so I think that's 32 years ago, and I try, and this was the goal for me my whole life, to be able to do this, and I feel very satisfied, very relieved that it's over. It'll all sink in, I'm sure, but I'm thrilled. I mean, I couldn't ask for any more. My crew, Phil Trinner, could not have done it without him. He's second to none.
An All-American podium at the end, with the French Rohara and Pulfer following in fourth, all of them very close in points, showing how high the level was at this World Championship. The award ceremony that followed soon after the races brought the winners in front of a warm audience, receiving their trophies and celebrating their world titles as the 2013 Qualcomm Star Worlds came to an end today in San Diego. Thanks for watching.
Don't go anywhere, as after the break we had top-class kite racing from China. And later in the show we go extreme sailing in Brazil. See you in a couple of minutes.